So I'm seeing that Destiny is apparently messing with people enough that his name is popping up again. So I guess like now, there's not enough people getting in touch with him, about exclusive interviews about his expertise on the Middle East and such like. What I like is that he's recently commented on a number of subjects, and so there was something that I was lighting him up in some videos, and then I thought, no, it's just not. What's the point? That's now the thing with Destiny is what's the point? There's a lot of these guys now, Hassan, Vaush, the whole bread tube bunch. That now it's becoming more and more that there is nobody to convince anymore. There's nobody to convince. You're on one side or the other for the most part. And the beauty of it is that, see, now there was somebody who, Lavater, put out there, what do the two sides tend to think of each other? See, the whole thing with people like Destiny, it's kind of sad because he's one of these people who was raised, I think, in evangelical Republican circles. So he was one of those people who would try to defend George Bush. Now, there really wasn't a defense for George Bush. And the evangelicals that would try to defend George Bush was kind of laughable. And eventually, this ended up turning out to be some kind of strange Protestant cult of politics. An example of what this cult would do, in a way, cultish behavior, is a prayer breakfast where people would pray for specific military policies. And so somebody was talking about, it's not that you let out of the bag that a country could arm another country. You just at this prayer breakfast said, wouldn't it be good, God, if this country gave these weapons to this country to help you, and so that's how that worked. So you didn't even have to tell top secret secrets. You could just say, I just mentioned this at this meeting, and I didn't have any knowledge privy to this, which they did, as pillow talk, in some kind of slightly elite household of the Republican Party, evangelical bunch of that party, and then this is what would happen. So it's understandable that in kind of such phony circles, especially since how much is broken down, with the evangelicals, and how many of these people were actually kind of freaks of nature in one way or another. So it's understandable that he would come out of that jaded from that. But one of the things is it's like this is not uncommon for a lot of Protestants specifically, like Catholics and Protestants. You just don't find a lot of Orthodox people who are like, yeah, I was raised in an Orthodox home and now I'm a total commie. Like you just don't run into that as often. Probably because there's not that many Orthodox. Probably you'd run into it more like somebody like Romanian V or something, even though I think technically he would have come from Catholic stock, but yeah, it's just one of these things of like, one, it doesn't matter, now two, the polling is showing the solid division that's occurred. So people like him are not going to matter that much as time goes on. He's getting old. He's old now. And so it's kind of fun to actually see, who hangs on as time goes on. Like one person I'm a little sad to see apparently has dipped out for a little while, possibly, is Brittany Venti. She's kind of vanished. Heard kind of sad things like, that she was going to get married and then things fell apart, and hearing, just like how supposedly Styx is getting a divorce, but I don't know if that's true either. Oh, let me check. Let's see. Let's see. Good. That's good. All right. So it's but now that this dividing line has happened, and that now the polling is showing like that there's a variety of, say, like mass deportation, very popular. And remember, people just say like, "Oh, it's that," but how are you going to do it? And it's like, by doing it. Like, don't worry. People once thought the Golden Gate Bridge couldn't get built. Then they thought the Bay Bridge couldn't be built. So it's one of those things of, no, where there's a will, you could find a way. And it's a matter of that. Where there's a will, you could find a way. So I'm actually kind of excited to see, as time goes on, how somebody like him is going to deal with the fact that, like, he can't take anybody on, really. He could barely debate people. He has to use debate tricks to pull it off. So it's like, so he could barely really debate. And then there's people who, when they're really good at it, like that one, the smoking Catholic that he took on, and that guy really kind of gave him a lesson in debate. And then how what's it called, Noor ended up playing his games for 6 hours, and then finally just was like, but you still don't have any way of proving what you're saying. You literally can't prove what you're saying. Like, there's nothing to back up that you're correct. And it's because he knew exactly what was going on. That BLM and Antifa were actually, they're absolutely groups that are disloyal to the United States of America. They're Marxist organizations. 100 years ago, they would have been, literally, these people would have been jailed, jailed for a very long time, for good reason. And so it's just one of these things now that I'm just like, yeah, people like him don't really matter. And really what's going to be the most fun is making people like him cry. Making wimps like him cry. That's the future. Make these people who ruined everything really feel it. Like, so that they know, like, nobody really likes my point of view. That they make them feel it. All right. Oh, yeah. Oh, and a whole lineup of various forms of liberal tears. Ew, bro. These sad white men who try to become women. It's just so pathetic. These demented Caucasoids that won't be hard peckerwoods. It's just, be a white man. Keep your balls.